So I saw a post come out, and it's been kind of circulated a lot, and it's from Suze Orman talking specifically on the real estate market. I guess I don't know if she got a question fielded from one of her followers or whatnot, but she was responding to this concern about, is it a good time to buy a house? And so I want to give you some feedback. I don't know if her account got hacked or what the situation is, but there's certainly some things that are just factually incorrect that she's stating. Now, I don't personally have a problem when somebody says it's not a good time to buy a house. If they have a belief that that is the case, if they're predictive of something in the market, but I do believe it's certainly situationally dependent. But there's some things here that are not about situational dependence. So I'm just going to read it. She says, I would absolutely wait until September, October, November of this year before I consider buying a home. One concern is property values. Isn't that everyone's concern about buying a home? It's always property values. Many people will have to make up their missed mortgage payments around the time federal unemployment is scheduled to stop on July 31st. Okay. This puts them in a difficult financial position, especially if they're still out of work. It's not impossible that your neighbors might have to foreclose on their home. Certainly, that's a possibility. And foreclosure is a real thing, and it does have impacts on the on the markets around the home. Here's the problem, she says. Let's say you paid $300,000 for a home today, and we're here in July, and your next door neighbor is out of work due to the coronavirus and can't afford to make mortgage payments, so they foreclose on their home. That house goes for $150,000. Okay, it's an obscure random number, but okay. Do you know what that just did to property values of the property you just bought? It says your property now is worth $150,000. Now, on the face of it, that is accurate. If there was a sale around the corner for $150,000, then you overpaid, no doubt about it. The reality is, let's say they did have to foreclose and they owe $150,000, right? That's going to be the judgment amount on the foreclosure. First of all, why would anyone foreclose or allow their home to go into foreclosure if it's worth $300,000 and they can't afford to make any more payments, but they only owe $150,000? You wouldn't. Even a fire sale at $200,000. But realistically, that happens all the time. The courts are going to allow time for someone to sell their home. They're going to have to pay late fees and interest charges and everything else, but they would never go and just let it foreclose for $150,000 if they had any equity in the property at all. So this is just ignorant on its face. And secondarily, let's just say that did happen. Someone's going to buy that house for $150,000. What are they going to do? They're going to turn in, they're going to move it at market price. She's saying the whole market as a whole has now come down to that $150,000. I'm not saying there's not deals to be had in a market that has foreclosures going on. That happened. But there's always homes that are reselling that are driving the values, which if these are foreclosing at a lower price, they're going to go to meet market, right? Those are investors buying them. They're bought on the courthouse steps, and they're going to be resold at market value. Somebody's going to make money. The appraiser or somebody looking at your house value is not going to look at the judgment amount to determine your home's value. Make sense? Now she says, because when somebody goes to check the latest comp, they're going to see, oh, well, her grammar is terrible here. Oh, well, the house next door sold for $150,000. The house down the block, just like yours, sold for $150,000. There goes the price of real estate. And that's exactly what happened in 2007 and 2008, she says. No, that's not at all what happened. Yes, in context, some homes sold for less and drove the market down. Here's what people forget about the downturn of the market during that time. We peaked in first quarter of 2006, started trending down after that, right? How long did it take for the market to hit bottom? No one remembers this. It took 3 years for the market to trend down. Now, if you look at some of the indexes of home values across the nation, Case-Shiller's one, there's a bunch of them like this. Go look it up. The national price average from the top to the bottom was about 22% differential. We're not talking about 50%, 300 to 150. That didn't happen in 2008. there were deals like that, but they probably, needed a lot of work. They probably had a lot of issues. People stripped everything out of them, right? Those anecdotal situations do exist, yes, but the market as a whole never, during the worst recession that any of us have lived through, had that kind of impact that she's talking about. So this is fear mongering in regards to real estate. So do your own homework. This has been shared, 1,300 times. It looks like she's got equal amount of comments. It looks like, from looking through it, some good, some bad, and quite frankly, if you're concerned about what's to come, hold. No one's telling you that, but the idea that that in the next couple months we're going to see a 50% drop in any given market just has nothing to even really base that on. So I want to just call this out for what it is.